In honor of Futures Day here at FanDuel, I'm going to talk you through some of my favorite NFL futures bets for this upcoming season. Let's start with Coach of the Year, and this may surprise you. I'm looking at Ben Johnson with the Chicago Bears. Yes, the Chicago Bears. You're probably thinking, Liv, why on earth would you think they will have the Coach of the Year? Well, it's a new coach for them. Former Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. We know what that offense was looking like out in Detroit. This is also Caleb Williams' second year in the NFL, and I expect him to shake off some of that rust and have a much better season with the Chicago Bears' revamped offense. Listen, this is a tough division, but the bar is low for the Chicago Bears, and I think if Ben Johnson can do any better than they've been over the last few seasons, he will be a hero in Chicago and therefore a strong contender for Coach of the Year. So give me Ben Johnson with the Chicago Bears for Coach of the Year this season. Offensive Player of the Year, this really shouldn't shock you because he had an outstanding season last year. I'm looking at Jamar Chase, who led the league in receiving yards last year, and that was with the Bengals team that actually struggled quite a bit. Jamar Chase himself also had some contract distractions to start last season. He will not have that this season, so I predict even better than what we saw from him last year. This is a pass-heavy offense. He will get the ball a lot, so give me Jamar Chase for Offensive Player of the Year. Now let's look over to the defensive side. This might be a long shot, and I know already what you're going to say. Liv, you're just being a homer, or you're a Denver Broncos fan. You're right, I am, and there is a lot to be excited about if you're a Broncos fan as well. This defense was at a championship level, in my opinion, last season, and they got even better in the offseason. This Denver Broncos team is predicted to have one of the best defenses this upcoming season, and a huge part of that is not just PS2, who we know won Defensive Player of the Year last year, but Nick Benito, coming off of a breakout season in 2024. I was wildly impressed by what he was able to do. I think he only gets better. Like I said, this Broncos team is expected to have one of the best defenses in the league, and I think Nick Benito will be a huge part of that. So give me Nick Benito with the Denver Broncos for Defensive Player of the Year. Let's look at Comeback Player of the Year. Now, this one's interesting. There's always a storyline attached to Comeback Player of the Year, of course, and you can make a case for a lot of players. Christian McCaffrey, Trevor Lawrence, now that he's got some new weapons, but I am looking at Aiden Hutchinson, the guy who fractured his fibula and tibia in week 6 of last year's season. Aiden Hutchinson, in my opinion, was one of the more important pieces to the Detroit Lions season last year, and it was pretty devastating to see him go out. I expect only better and more from him. There's a lot of people out there that have given up on the Detroit Lions. I'm not one of those people. I think they have another great year, and their defense will be a huge part of that. We know he was starting to build a very strong campaign for being one of the best defensive players in the league last year before he got injured. Now that he is hopefully going to be healthy throughout the season, I can only imagine what he's capable of. So give me Aiden Hutchinson with the Comeback Player of the Year award because the storyline's there, written out for him, and I really like what the Lions are going to do this upcoming year. He will be a huge part of that. MVP. Now, we know this is not a quarterback award, not technically a quarterback award, but it seems to lean that direction every single year. There's a quarterback last year that, in my opinion, could have and maybe should have won MVP had his team done a little bit better, and that is Mr. Joe Burrow. Boy, did he have a year last year, and unfortunately, the Bengals just fell short in a lot of ways and struggled quite a bit throughout the season. I don't expect that this year, especially because I see such a big year from Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase can't do his job without Joe Burrow doing his job. So I really like a big year from Joe Burrow, similar to what we saw last year. This isn't a crazy thought to have considering we just saw it. Unfortunately, the Bengals just couldn't get a better record. Had they had a better record, I think Joe Burrow would have won last year, but I'm going to give him this award this upcoming year. I think with a better record and the same performance he gave us last season, he is a strong contender for MVP. So give me Joe Burrow for MVP. Now, for the Super Bowl winner, guys, this is a tough one. You could go a million directions. Could the Eagles go back to back? Are the Chiefs back on top? But I'm really liking the Ravens. And I've said this a lot over the last few seasons. And every so often, I feel like, should I just give up on this team? I don't think it's their year. It is their year. Lamar Jackson is winning a Super Bowl this upcoming season. I love Lamar Jackson. He is a dual threat player. He has done outstanding things in this league, and I do feel like this is his year. Maybe I've said that over the last few seasons, but this time I mean it. The moment you hop off the train, you regret doing so. I'm not doing that. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win it all in this year's Super Bowl. That's it for my NFL futures bets for this upcoming season. In honor of Futures Day here at FanDuel, what are yours?